4 minutes to get it all going. That's okay. So now we can say formally, thank you, Elizaveta, for coming on the show. Very nice of you to come, and I'm looking forward to a good conversation. It's always a pleasure speaking to you. So
thank you, Vikram. Thank you for invitation, and also thank you that you're always supporting me. And I really glad to see you today, because I didn't saw you before maybe for a long time, because before we spoke with you more often.
Yeah. Now tell me, what these lights that you have put, this is the festive season has started with all these lights.
You're speaking about lights on my back?
Yep.
I usually use it because I really love it. So for whole year, I use it.
Very nice. A good thing. It should be a festive season throughout the year. Why should it be only for a month or 15 days? But I was reading that this post of yours that you put out, that Instagram thing, all that Buddhist philosophy and Roerich and all that. What was all that about? What is that book about?
This book is about basic of Buddhism. It was written by Russian writer Elena Rerich. Maybe I don't. Do you know? I don't know if you know her husband. He was a famous artist, yes, and they lived in India also for a very long time.
I've gone to his house also, where he lived in India, in the hills. Yes, gone to that house.
I know about them not so long time, because I visited their museum first time 2 years ago, and this year I visited the second place where I can find information about them, because this family become really interesting and important for me, because I saw how many things they make for whole world, not only as a painter, but Elena Brerich, wife of an artist, she wrote a lot of different books for about the Eastern spirituals, and about and also their sons. Two of them they also were really important persons, because one of them was an interpreter from different languages, and he wrote also a lot of books, and another was an artist too. And about what I posted yesterday, I just wanted to relax, and I opened the book by Elena Rerich. It is Basic of Buddhism, because it was interesting for me. I already read it maybe a year ago, and yesterday I just opened it and to read for several pages, and I found here in it stories how different peoples came to Buddha and asked him what is he teaching about, and the questions was from a soldier, which asked him, is the Buddhism is about does Buddha think that you may protect your family, you may protect what you have, your country, or he thinks that the war in all cases is prohibited? And their answer was about that for one side, he thinks that the war where people kill each other is really bad thing, but on the other side, if someone came to kill you, to kill your family, to take all what you have, you must protect them. But in this way, you are not a bad man. The bad man is the person who started the war, and the thing that was important for me, that later he also tell that but the most important thing is to understand that all is changing in our life, and if today you are a winner in some war, for several days it may be changed and you may lose it all. And so he tells that the best win is when after the winning you come to a person which is on the other side in front of you and tell him, and now let's go and make a peace and be brothers. And when you stop the pain, and then you believe to another person and give him a chance to live in you in peace, it's the best thing in all situations.
That's interesting, because I tell you, we have a book called the Mahabharata, which obviously has, I mean, there are a lot of things that it speaks about, but one of these things is that sometimes you have a duty sometimes to even go to war. So there are a lot of things in that. It's a whole lot of information and teachings and everything, but this aspect does come out from there also. But interestingly, there was, Mahatma Gandhi. He had, in South Africa, there was an arbitration where his client won, but then he went and tried to, after that, get the parties together. So it is a good thing sometimes, even for lawyers. Sometimes, like you said, you might win the case at that moment, but it's not the end of the case. That case will go on. There will be appeals and everything. So why not? Okay, you won, but reaching out and trying to get a permanent settlement, I think it's a good thing. We should look at that. Definitely.
I agree with you.
But what else? What else are you reading? Look, you don't know. I don't read books, so you have to tell me about some books that you're reading. What?
Which I'm reading right now, or
Right now,
about...
before that, as many as you want to tell me about. Look, I am going to learn. That's all. As many as you tell me about.
Vikram, so last time the book which I was reading was also by Elena Rerich, because I visited the second museum of their family this year, and I bought a little book with her letters. And I don't know why today it's maybe will look like I'm reading only about them, but it just happens now. These letters was sent during her life to real people when they asked her questions. And as I understand, she also translated into the Russian one of spiritual teaching. It's in Russian, it's called Agni Yoga. I don't know how it will be in English, but also they call it in Russian as living ethics. And here she, in letters in this book, she speaks about different questions. When people ask her how to live, what does she think about education, about war, about spiritual way, how to live, is it possible to go in a war, or you must be so kind and don't even touch it. And it's interesting for me to see how she think about it. And these letters, they are from 1930s, and it's so interesting for me that they still have a power today. So what did also the book which I am reading now, it's just little practicing book. I don't know why I didn't start it read it before, but I find it in my computer in electronic view, and it is about how to tell the parties of conflicts to go to mediation. It's not only for mediators, but to different people which see a conflict and want to advise to use this procedure. For example, also for lawyers which are working with parties, or for some state bodies maybe, and for different people which see that the conflict may be finished in another way, not by the court.
That's serious stuff, but I'm more interested in this Agni Yoga. Please tell me more about that. That sounds really interesting.
Oh, Vikram, do you know, for example, as I understand, Agni Yoga is written in 11 or 14 books. because here different answers about how we may live, how to live in our life in practical way, how to find your spiritual way. As I see, they see different spheres of lives. I don't know how to translate it in English better, because maybe I see you as a person in our physical body, but also they have not only physical body, we have a soul, and they have different levels. Also, as I understand, it speaks about karma and what does it mean. And it's interesting for me, but I don't really know if I will have an opportunity to read it sometimes, because I understand that it will be wrong just to read maybe just one book, because you don't will see another parts of this teaching. And as it's written in letters of Elena Rerich, she tells that if you are going to this way, you must understand that now you be more responsible than people which don't know about it. Because the one side is when you don't see something and you don't understand how you must live your life. But another way is when you see it and don't do it. So that's why if you will go to this way, you must understand what you must practice it. And if to tell about what I saw in her letters, what was interesting for me, why I like her. So it is about some things which I was thinking before by myself, and now it seems like you look into this text and you found something that tells you that you think true in true way, because you know, as usual children in Russia, I was when I was 1 year old, by my grandma, I was in church, and I became a Christian, and it's not Catholic, but Orthodox church. And I lived in this idea, but of course I didn't practice too many time in church. I didn't visit it too much, but I read Bible for children in my childhood, and I know some, of course, stories about it. And I see that many people in their lives think that only their religion is true. But when I become growing older, through my growing, I understand that on one side, religions help you to find some answers, but on another side, I don't want to choose just one and tell what all other people which are in our religions were on. And in these letters, I see that Elena Rerich and all her family, they told about the unity of all religions. Maybe you, I don't know if you saw, I recommend you to find the paint of Nikolai Rerich. It's called The Mother of a World, and it's really nice because you see the woman.
What is it called? Mother of? What is it called? Mother of?
Mother of the World.
Okay, I'll look for it. Yeah, I'll find it. Yeah.
Okay. Here is a woman, and you see that around her also some lights. And as I understand, the one of idea of this paint is that sometimes all the people will understand what we are the parts of one, and that all different. Yes. It's she.
Okay. So what we're saying, what can you now talk about it? What we're saying about the painting. So now we'll be able to relate to it. So the painting is, what is he trying to say?
Now maybe I will need to translate if you may wait me.
Yeah, please. I will also, up till then, maybe after that, these paintings of Roerich also with the mountains that he's painted, we'll see that after that. Yeah.
Yeah. This idea of his paint is, do you see the lights which looks like a person's around her, little lights. And as I understand, you may impress what one of them a Buddha, another is Jesus Christ, and then in the other ones, and that they all come to us just to give us the light. But that doesn't mean that only one of them is true, but others are wrong. Because as for me, all of religions speaking about one, but maybe in different words. And sometimes we have a problem, I think, because of the people, because when we, for so large period of history, gives these stories from one side to other sides and write it one by one and translate it from language to language, sometimes we lose the first story. And I think that differences which we see now, it's a problem of people, because first of all, every person which teach us to how to live, they tell us about one and about how to be kind to each other, how to love the world. But when we came, a moment, please.
Yeah.
I think that in Russia, we have two different words. Vera, as I see, it's faith in English, and religia is religion. And I see the difference between faith and religion is that when you believe in something, for me, it's more important than symbols which you use, when a kind of how to make some your rituals, because it's not so important if fear differs, because the most important is what you feel, is what you think. And I think that in Agni Yoga, it's also about unit. And in letters of Yelena Rerich, I found information that she tells what for many years ago, maybe in 600 of our days, only in this time Christians prohibited the story about reincarnations and about karma. Before it was also used by them, but later they tell that it doesn't go in their scene of life. Yes.
Because from this, all I'm saying, Ellie, is that you have to now study Hindu philosophy. All that you are saying is all there. She's also picked it up from there. I can see that it's come from there. And in Hinduism is a way of life, as we say it, and all these things. I mean, there's no concept of this is it. No, we're all learning. Everything is. I mean, you take everything with you as you go along. So I think you need to do that, and you will also read it, and then you can teach me also. We have the Vedas. You can tell me about that. So good. Ellie, this is your project now. The project is to study Hindu philosophy and to teach us on a weekly basis or a monthly.
Indian Hindu philosophy.
Yeah, because the thing is something that is close to us, because it is part of our life. I mean, we grow with a lot of things which are told to us, and that's how it gets passed on. Those religious, as we say religious, I keep still say, and a lot of people say that this is a way of life. We keep saying that religion is a word that is used in the world. Yes, so you put it into a religion. It's not like that. Anyone comes, practices this. I even say that for other religions. I'm saying if is Islam, there's a book, you follow that book, you can be a Muslim. It should not have become something that you are born into. It has to be something that you practice, because there's a code of conduct has been given to you. So in that sense, I think the religion, it could be Christianity, could be Islam, they moved away from the fact that you following that book is what you have to do, and then you become a Christian or a Muslim. It's not that, oh, I was born into a family, now I can do. If Islam says don't drink alcohol, but I was born into a family, I will drink alcohol, I'll still be a Muslim. That should not have been the way it should have been. But perfect, it suits some people, they take it in that sense. So in Hinduism, there is no concept that, okay, you have certain kinds of thoughts, so you can't be part of this. Everyone can be part of it. It's an evolving concept, and good teachings are good teachings wherever they come from. So I don't see that as an issue at all. But before we go, this is a serious thing which you will obviously in some way educate me as you go along in life. But I want to show you the paintings of Roerik, because he's painted from the mountains in India also, and he's been known for these paintings, these mountains. That's his style. So
Yes.
so that, of course, he's lived in India, so he's painted a lot of the things from here.
Vikram, do you know in Russia he is most famous by his paintings of Altai mountains too, and he is well known as a painter, as an artist.
Okay?
But
Let's see.
when I visited the museum, I was so impressed how many their family did, not only for our country but for whole world, in saving different arts. Because before then, now we have the pact of Rerich, which was created in 20th century. Before that, I didn't know about that before, that we have some protection of historical sites, of some architecture, ancient buildings, for example, or for some arts. And they really made a lot of things for us. You may see here on photos when here is sculpture, and under its back there are Altai mountains and the river Katun, where I was in summer when it was symposium, when you saw me in my vestry.
Nice. So this must be a beautiful area. And these specific books are on that. Altai Himalaya. He has these books on that. So it must be really nice. So I think the first thing is that obviously the mountains themselves are beautiful wherever you go. The Himalayas are beautiful wherever. So
I think it's so, they're so powerful. And usually when I visit such places, you become quiet, you understand how small you are.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Because there's a place called Nagar, which he was living in we have a state called Himachal Pradesh. So he was there. So beautiful area. So I think we need to, obviously, I don't know whether you've seen his house, but I went there to see that. So this is Vikram, what his house is. Wow. But from there, the view, okay, you can't see the view from there, but yeah. Yeah. But yeah.
Vikram, may I add, before I didn't forget about it? Do you know, I want to add why I read it. Because maybe from your side it may look like I so religious person or something in this way, but for me the first sight is interesting to understand their seeing of worlds. And those lectures found here a lot of ideas of unity for all people. And for me it is very important to understand also why did I wrote about Buddhism, because it's interesting for me how people see the world in another way. And also, for me, it helps to understand people of different religions, of from different countries, from different conditions, and it really a large pleasure for me to understand that we are all mostly speaking about one things, but maybe we don't use the same words, and sometimes we have problems because we don't understand each other just because we're speaking by different words, and the problem may be in communication, but not because we believe in different things, for example.
But tell me, you said this, you have words for religion, you have faith. What about spirituality? Is there something on spirituality?
Spirituality.
What is the understanding of spirituality?
Hmm. What you want me speaking about?
What is spirituality? Is that part of, like you said religion, faith. Now, what about spirituality? Is that, does that form part of any of the things that you read about, you studied?
I just afraid that I will
Everything is
understand
right.
when during
Everything
my
is right.
translation.
Everything is right. You see, you no problem at all. Whatever. But what is your understanding of spirituality? You can translate into your translator. Check what spirituality in
Oh,
Russian is. What does it say?
but about spiritual way, yes.
Mhm.
How I understand my way.
Yes. Yes. You are the
Oh,
teacher. You are the teacher. You have to teach me. What is your understanding?
Vikram, I am not a teacher. I'm just a little person which wants to try to live inside. Mm. Now, I told you before that I don't think that I'm in some one kind of religion, because I want to look for a world in more wide way. And I like to see how people in different religions want to live, how they see which is good, which is bad. And for me, in my way, I just understand that we have something which is more than just a people. People may call it a god, or a universe, or another something cosmic, or in different ways. But I think that it's not important how we will call it. But I feel that there are something which is much more powerful than just one people's life. And that's why I feel sometimes that all people are little parts of something whole.
Interestingly, what I did was I started a series called Mediators, Mediation, and Spirituality. So on the first episode, there were people from all over the world, and everyone kind of had the similar thoughts as you. Everyone would have normally thought that, okay, religion will be connected to it. People were not connecting religion to spirituality. They had a larger, like you said, a larger picture of the whole thing. So that was very interesting. So wherever in the world you are, there is that thought that it is larger than what we know, and what there is some force, a power, whatever people talk about. So that
Mhm.
was very interesting. So I think, the thing is, I've been talking about, I don't know whether you've been, obviously, I'm sure you must have heard it because I say it all the time, that spirituality plays an important role in mediation and with mediators. So that is why the series was for that. So now I'm going to get it back. I'll have some episodes or something on that also, because I think that
Mhm.
discussion should continue. Because I keep talking about the heart, the soul, spirituality, because according to me, they're very important aspects which have got lost because of this very hyper technical mediation that the world is discussing. There is lots more which is out there in terms of mediation and mediators, which is getting left out. What do you think?
I think that it is important to have something in yourself, inside of you, before you are going out and trying to share something with our people. And that's why I think that you must have some basis in yourself. And also, if we will speak about Buddhism, So I will back to this book. So I like the thing which is going from Buddha when he speaks that you must believe to a teaching, didn't trying to understand it by yourself. And he tells that even if I tell you something, but this is white and this is black or something other, you must go and to see it by yourself. You must feel it by yourself. You must prove it. And I think that it is important. On one side, the faith, it's something that you can prove, you just may feel it. But on other way, I think that each of us must usually think about things and trying to find his own way, and not believe in something just because it was written in this way, but think about it by yourself and by your heart, trying it.
So I think what I've understood, Ellie, is that definitely you are going to start reading Hindu scriptures, because look, Buddhism came out of Hinduism. It was, of course, that was what we had, but then he had these views on how things have to be done, because obviously as a religion or a way of life, as I would say, it goes along, and over years certain practices come into it, and which might not be what the original thought was, which happens with every religion, I think. So then in that case, he had his view on how to take out. So maybe he took out some part of it and took it there. But I think for you, I think Hindu scriptures on a larger level, and then Buddhism, everything you have to read and study. And you will have one episode every month on telling us about this. On the spirituality series, we'll have that, and you are going to tell us about it.
Vikram, I think I will need to change a profession in this way.
No, no, see, I'm very serious, Ellie. I'm very serious. I want that series to come back. And I was speaking to Gabriela. She's in Brazil, and one of that mediator experiences thing. I think she also has very interesting thoughts on that. So we'll have that. We'll get people together who have those thoughts, because I'm telling you, this is important. The world has to also start looking at it, because according to me, mediation has not gone the way it should have gone, only because of this aspect which was not considered. People were thought that they will make mediators in 40-hour factories. No, there is so much more. The soul, the spirituality, all those things play such an important role. And to not consider that, what am I going to teach you about spirituality in 40 hours? Then it will be wonderful. Then we should be able to give it out to the world, those 40 hours. There's so much more that goes into it. I think we need to understand that and start discussing that. So this is what we're going to do. I'm serious about this. We'll have one episode to start with in January. So before that, you will
Vikram,
you
for
will
me, for me, the problem was speaking about it is that I don't see that I'm a teacher, because I see that I'm only a pupil in this way, and I can't teach anyone in
okay,
this way.
okay,
I
well, okay,
don't feel
okay,
that I can
okay,
teach.
okay. I use the word teacher. Say, okay, you will share your thoughts, you will share your knowledge, you will share what you read about all these things, because look, there is so much. That's why I don't read books, because there's so much. And when I read, like you said, you picked up that book and you related to it, because those thoughts that come to you, those thoughts come to all of us. So it's not okay. Pick up a book, maybe all those thoughts are there, but you generally, your thought process should go on. It's not should not be limited to, okay, now I have this book to read and this is it. Thought process should go on. So basically, after reading whatever you will read, your thought process, all that you will bring to us. That is what is going to be interesting. So prepare yourself. January, that episode is going to come. For sure.
I have to buy much more books, I think, to prepare.
You have Agni Yoga. You're saying this aspect that she's picked up, because I'm telling you that these are the essence that someone picks up from, like, look, Hindu scriptures. There is so much. So someone picks some part of it, and then develops it, brings their own maybe thought to it, whatever it is. So they create an area out of it. Damn good. So let's start to discuss that. Someone else will be able to pick up something else. We can discuss that. But we have to keep these discussions going. We have to keep those discussions going, because this is an important part which I keep saying. And I mean, the soul part of it, so much I talk about the soul part of it. That part of it is totally lost in, I think, maybe in the world in general. People don't even talk about the soul. You saw my Diwali thing that I sent out. You saw that? That Diwali message that I sent. Did you see it or not? Oh,
Which was on Diwali?
yeah, my
Yes,
message
I
that
saw
I
it,
sent.
of course.
So that was about the soul. That was what, according to me, that is an
Yeah.
important part. So let's see what was it like. Oh, the Diwali thing. Let's put it out.
Vikram, during your trying to find this picture, I want to tell you that if we will continue our discussion, I will have to go to some courses of English because every time before translation, I'm really afraid how I will speak with you, because I'm afraid that I will forget all my words, and you see what I really forget part of them.
Oh, no, perfect.
And,
You're absolutely perfect. Don't even think about language. Is just something to just. I mean, if I understand what you're saying, that's good enough, na? Or how does it matter what the things? But I think that I tried to put this out. I was saying this one I saw. You got this. I got to send this out to people.
yeah.
So this is where this aspect of the soul part of it, I think, like I said, it all starts with the soul, and that is the only thing that's forgotten. So we have to bring that in. But this is serious stuff. What about work? What is happening on your project? Setting up the mediation center in Bernal. What's
Vikram,
happening there?
before we will come to this part, I see you smiling. I want to add about your question, what is important in mediation before we finish this topic. That during the symposium and during connection with you and with other mediators in different episodes in mediations experience also. Do you know, I feel myself really happy to see which people are living for all over the world, because during the time when you helped me to go to fellowship with James, also I felt such support from people which are absolutely not getting something from myself, from me, by my application for this, but all of them trying to help me by their advice, and it's really so supporting. And during this time, I felt something so beautiful that really impress you, and you feel yourself full by some happiness, because you see that a lot of people for all worlds looks like a light.
Yes.
And they ready to share with you. During the mediator's experience, the Judge Shimak, I was absolutely in love with his speech during the time he was spoke. And also Lisa think helped me so much. And all institutes in US for which I sent my letters, they gave me an answer. And it was so pleasant for me to see that people are ready to contact with you. And I feel it in some maybe contrasts with our usual life, because even in our mediation community in my country, sometimes I feel not always I feel myself this way, because I see that some people think that they are concurrents to each other. They create their unions and tell what their union is better than another. And I feel myself much better when I see that mediators are, as you tell, have a special mindset which is about communication and supporting each other and supporting people. And I think that this is the most important thing that I can see now.
But this is what I keep saying. Look, first of all, people with the mediator mindset are wonderful people. They're good human beings, and they always want to help. Like you were saying, all these people, my connecting you to these people was because I knew they will help you. They would, whatever. Look, like you said, they don't want anything. They're not, that application is your application, but they're concerned. They want to help. Like Lisa going out, talking to the mediation center, sending out the letter to you, and everything that she did. It's just nice people wanting to do something good. And of course, look, you as a person also, they're looking at you also, that you are a wonderful person wanting to do good things, and that is why they are trying doing all this. So I think that is just, that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to connect these wonderful people all over the world together, and good things will happen from that. Whatever good things happen, this was a good thing, like you said, is a good thing that happened to you. That itself gives me happiness, that you are feeling good about it. Your happiness in that sense is making me happy. So that's what it is all about. It's just about these conversations with people doing good for each other. What else do we have in life? I mean, how long is what we don't even know about life. We don't know the next instant what's going to be there. So why not just do good and get good people together, and like I said, stay away from all that negativity that is being spread by people for their own vested interests. So you also heard me say that, stay away from the news. It is their vested interests who are throwing things in your mind, even in social media. For me, so my social media is so focused on the promotion of mediation. Only me, that is it. I don't even look at anything else, because even the people who I have on my on Facebook and all are all mediators. And that is, I also have a look when someone sends me a friend request. I have a look, is this person talking about mediation? It's not a general thing. Is it, because they're all very, very focused people. So I look at that. But because the thing is that I have always been saying that for me, if I connect those 1,000 people with the mediator mindset, and they go and connect with 1,000 people with the mediator mindset, at least we have 1 million people out there. But like I've been complaining, that is not happening. People are not going ahead and doing it. So Ellie, you have to also connect other people with the mediator mindset with you and take this forward. It doesn't have to happen in 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. It takes its time, not a problem, but that movement should start. Would all those things that I keep doing, your YouTube channel, conversations with people, all that has to happen. When is all that going to happen?
Vikram, I think I must find wife for myself to have possibility to make it all, or maybe I need to find some more time in nowadays. I don't know how you may create all these videos, all translations, and how you may live in this time, because I see what you are always working on this channel, and I see how many time it takes, and how many your force it takes, and how many your enthusiasm it takes. That's why I don't start it now something else, because as you see, I trying to write in Instagram on my page. Also, I'm writing on a page of Association of Mediators. And when we will create a website, I will write in here. And that so took some part of my life. And also, I have to work as a lawyer whenever I want it or not now. And that's why sometimes I feel myself large part of my life speaking about mediation, but not working as a mediator. And now the first thing which I want to make is to pay more attention for practice of mediator. And I don't know, maybe really this year is transformational for people. I don't know, here a lot of parts of our life, and astrologists will tell us one, and someone will tell us what you might believe only to a science. But I see what really for many of my friends and people in the whole world, their life is changing now, and we're all trying to find our way in life. And for me, I see that I've worked as a lawyer from my students' time. I told you before about it. And I started working from 18 years. And I liked this profession, but now I feel in myself much better when I'm working with mediation, when I'm working with mediators, when I'm writing about it, when I'm doing all which connected with it. And just yesterday I thought that maybe cases and quotes which I took in my work now, maybe they will be the last. Because I usually took this job because I'm thinking about money and how to live. But I feel myself really tired. Maybe I will work with contracts if I will have to work as a lawyer. But I feel that when I'm working with court, I really have to waste a lot of my power to it. I always thinking about different kind of risks. And you see that you usually tell me to be not so serious, but it's a problem for me because in my profession, I usually have to be serious and I think about all future details which I must protect. That's why I oftenly feel myself so much tired and I want to stop maybe working with so wasting energy processes and to pay attention now much more to mediation practice.
That's what I did. I decided, look, the thing is that the court system, the way it's structured, everything, it definitely, first of all, wastes a lot of time and all those energy and everything. So I moved away from it long time back. I started doing, like I keep saying, the preemptive, preventive kind of work, and I enjoyed that. So that movement has to happen. I mean, if you have that mindset, you'll feel like you are being confined into something that is not giving you happiness on a daily basis. So that definitely has to happen. But the problem is the fact that being a full-time mediator for people is becoming difficult, or is difficult. And all over the world, this, you keep hearing this aspect. So I think that is what we need to change, as to, and find out why that has happened, that we think that mediation is a very good thing, it works. Then why is it that people are not being able to practice as full-time mediators? So which we'll talk about this. We'll see how it has to work, because I hear it from everywhere. So I actually want that we need to concentrate on that aspect for sure. What all is coming in the way, and you've heard me so many times in the symposium, I don't have to repeat it. My problem is the way through the court system, the way it's developing, it is finishing off mediators. Yes, the courts are finishing off their backlog, at least whatever little bit is happening there. But the main thing is mediators, and that profession is obviously being finished because of that. And we really have to, either we have to maybe sit outside the courts with a blackboard and have protests or something, whatever. But we need to do something that I think they're just going to end. And I mean, I see people who are actually practicing in the courts also as mediators. They want to practice do this full time, but obviously the money will not come in if you give it for free in courts. So definitely they won't be able to do that. And outside work, how will it develop when you tell people that it is something that comes for free? How will people value it, and how will they value mediators? So there are a lot of issues that we need to do something about, and the earlier we do it, the better it is. So that process I've started. I'm talking about it, and whatever way, but everyone has to do it at every part of the world, with every place, with the court system, wherever, because one individual is not going to be able to go out and tell everyone. But I think we need to start sending out letters also, maybe to the chief justices of courts all over. People should send it out, telling them, look, what you're doing is something which is really screwing up. I mean, oh, sorry, not the word to be used, spoiling and finishing of a profession. That's how I look at it. So, but anyway, but I have to, all these things that you spoke about, your mediation center, I'm very interested in that Bernal mediation center that you are wanting to set up. I think that's a very good thought. So what's happening on that?
Oh, Vikram, usually so oh. You see that now I have only idea of this, and I didn't start it work in this way, just only thinking about it. You gave me a really nice idea of making something in online, for example, without office. I think that we might tell that in this way, association is the same, will be as an online center, because we created it and in this aim too, for people to make possible for people found information about different mediators who work in different kinds of cases, and to put it on one website, and also to share information in some social nets and in codes and other ways. But I think that now, during my connection with my colleagues in Brno, I see that we will need an office. Not maybe as a place where we every day make game, but maybe I had an idea to go to our organization which helps for businesses which are starting work. It's center for business. Maybe to give them an idea of opening some room for mediators in the center. And for example, we may create some way of free consultations for businesses. And from them, we will get a chance to use their offices when we need it. Because now I see that, of course, I may meet the parties in some cafe or restaurants for consultation. But when we go in mediation procedure, we will need some place where we will be confident when the confidentiality is protected, and when it will be comfortable for us to sit in for 1 or 2 or 3 hours and speak. And that's why I see that we will try to, we need to try to find some place, because by myself, I understand that it will be hard to rent it, because you will pay money, but maybe you don't will have clients in this month. And I want to find some place for the first time, which we can use when we need it. And later, maybe we will already find some office which will be for any time open for people.
Because the thing is that my whole idea was that to start with, we have to cut the costs down so that people at least try the process. That's one thing. And then, I mean, you have, I don't know whether Bernal will have that, but you have these business centers and shared offices and all that concept is. So when you need a conference room, you can always book a conference room somewhere. So you don't really need to have a permanent space. You were working online all the time. Only for a meeting, I'm sure there are places there which you can rent out, a room somewhere, a conference room or a business center or something. I'm sure there is something like that. Is there? A business center kind of thing that you can rent a room for a day, for a few hours, like that.
I think that we may rent a room for a few hours, so maybe we will get it for free, and for barter. Maybe we will make some free consultation for it and use the room for free.
Exactly. I mean, all those things you have to think about, because I'm saying today people don't value the profession. So once we have to get them to try it out, get the flavor of it. And then after that, obviously, once they see the benefit of it, then obviously they will from there take it forward from there. Then they will tell other people, and then they will slowly, we have to create that value for the profession. That is how I look at it. So if you have business centers in Bernal also, that's not a problem. So I think that could be a model. I think, of course, you'll work it out, but I'm saying that we need to, first I want to see where is Bernal. Let's look at that. This is where Bernal is. Not too far. Look, this is where I am. That's
I
Bernal.
see.
Let us see what the
How many
satellite.
hours?
Okay, showing 18 hours, but I'm sure the flight goes through Moscow and all that. So definitely. So this is what it looks like. So what are we flying over? Tajikistan? No, this is not Tajikistan. Not flying to Tajikistan. So this is through Tibet, over Tibet. So the entire region is what, a cold desert, is it out here? But Bernal is, Altai region is nice and green.
Yeah.
But have you traveled to all these places? Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan,
No,
any of them? Any of them or not?
I was only in Kazakhstan, but it's in its parts which is near to Altai Mountains. I just travel here by bus, so it was not for so long time. Do you know, Vikram, in Russia, a lot of people didn't even travel for whole country.
Yeah,
And as for me, I visited Moscow maybe 3 times by when I was a student in different ways, and also with work or with the charitable foundation. Once I was in St. Petersburg, and all others, my travels in Russia were near. It's was in Siberia. Yes, and I visited only Thailand, Turkish, and Kazakhstan, and that's all now.
That's very good. But the thing is that it's quite far also. Moscow to Bernal is like what? Almost 3,600 kilometers by road.
Yes, and the problem for us sometimes, what's now my friend, one of my friends is in Sakhalin, which is on the eastern part of Russia, and it's near to Japan. And she have, as I see, to go here through Moscow. She have to go in to the west and later go to another side of country, because from Barnaul she can't go here by flight.
Yeah, that also must be a problem. They're huge. Russia is huge, huge country. From one corner to the other corner will be how many kilometers? Let's see. What is that place that she was in? You said your friend was which place in Russia?
In Sakhalin.
What is the spelling?
Sakhalin.
Okay.
um,
Okay, I got it. I got it. Sakhalin. I got it. I got the place. I'm just thinking, where is it from? To Sakhalin to Moscow. Okay. We have to stop this and check it out. Well, huge. I mean, I don't know how many kilometers. How many kilometers is it from one end to from Russia to the other end?
I don't know if we are in center, and to the Moscow we have 3,000 kilometers, and to our side I think we have more than 3,000. So
yep. Wow, that's huge. Yeah. But out of that, how much areas does Siberia take?
Siberia? I only know that Siberia may contain 4 countries as France.
Easy, I'm sure. Yeah. Because I think, but the thing is that you live in a big country, you can't even say that there'll be different cultures in every part. To say there is one Russian culture or something, also you can't say, obviously. So there must be so many different what language. What about language? I mean, is when we say Russian, we use Russian. We say all of them speak the same kind of Russian, or is it different dialects in different parts?
We have dialects, but we are not so different from each other. Maybe we tell some words with a little bit another pronunciation, but it's don't differ too much. But in national republics, as I told at symposium, indigenous people also use their own language, and they don't look like Russian. They more, much of them are from the Turkish family, such like Altaish, Buryat, Tiva, Yakut, and they are a little bit similar to each other, but some words looks like similar, but they differ from each other too. Do you know, I have one best friend, which is she's Altaish girl, and I really love her mom. which is old Altaish woman, but she is a teacher of Russian language in their little village, which is only indigenous people living here. And she have beautiful sense of humor, and she always tell me that, oh, I know, Lizenka, you are not Russian. She tells me that I am Kumandinka. It is one of little parts of Altaish nation. We have 10 different families in it, and she tells me, I know that in your village there are a lot of Kumandins, and I think that you are one of them. You must teach Altaish, she tells me. And she tells always for me that I know only some words, which is hello, thank you, yes, no. And she tells me, oh, you speak beautiful. I like you really.
That's interesting. But how are things in your village? How are things in your village? I mean, in terms of development in the village that what is the place of the village called? What is the name of the village?
My village. Oh, Vikram, it will be hard for you to. You must understand what my village now called is Krasnogorskaya.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it will be hard for you by
type it out. Type it out in the chat. Type it out in the chat.
Okay.
But the chat I won't be able to copy from the chat. We send it on WhatsApp to me. Let's see.
Okay, for one moment.
Because you sent some nice pictures from there. What if I share those pictures on the screen?
But okay you must find Krasnogorskaya in Altai region, because we also have the city Krasnogorsk, which is near to Moscow, and maybe Google will find this city for you.
But can you send that name on the WhatsApp? On WhatsApp?
I send it in the chat.
Chat the thing. I don't know why I've been trying it. I'm not able to copy from there. So it doesn't copy from the chat. I don't know. Have I made some setting where it doesn't copy from the chat? I don't know what the reason is.
Vikram, okay. Do you need to write it in the chat?
In the WhatsApp. Just send it on WhatsApp. Let me. But I'm putting your pictures on the screen. Okay, the one that you sent from your village.
Okay.
Okay. Let me. I hope that. Well, I've really found that really nice. So this. And the winter even better. Let us see.
My village, as I understand, in my photos. Yes, in 20th century, it sometimes go from one region to another, and you see that we have Altai territory or Altai region or Altai Krai. I found free translation of name of our region, and we have Altai Republic, which is our neighbor region. Yes, and now my village is in Altai territory, but as I see, many years ago, it goes from one to another side. But in Altai territory, in Altai Krai, we have not so many high mountains. There are a lot of hills and some quiet places. But in Altai Republic, it is touristical famous place. There is not so many tourists as in some countries where it is always hot. But during the time of pandemic, a lot of people from Moscow started coming here because it's really beautiful and it's quite quiet and you feel some special energy here because there are living not so many people and the nature is still really brilliant. There are not so many roads for tourists to some places. They have to use helicopters sometimes, or they have to use some really large cars to go through the places where there is no roads. But it's really beautiful.
I'm surprised because that development should have happened so much. But again, the big country, a lot of work to be done all over.
But Vikram, on one side, it is not comfortable for tourists that we haven't good roads for some touristical places here in Altai Republic. But on the other side, I think that if there was really good roads, so where maybe nature will be already broken,
Yeah, and that
because
also, yeah, balance has to
we
be
have
there.
a lot of problems with it.
Definitely, no, that balance has to be there. You can't go into every place and destroy it for sure.
It's just my village. It's my mom's house, left part.
Hmm. Nice, nice, nice. But but the thing is that when we look at you haven't sent on WhatsApp, you haven't sent me the name of the village.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't sent that.
Now?
Yeah, now let's see the place
Okay, wait a minute.
because we should know what it looks like. Let's see the pictures of the place.
Mm-hmm. Ready?
You showed me your village. What about Altai region and all that? That also we need to see, don't we?
And in Altai region, in Altai Republic, if you will trying to find some pictures, the first is that they all are beautiful, and the second side is that um, it's so different. Because in one place there are much more quiet water and mountains, but in other they're really huge. The rivers are so noisy. They have so many power when they are going. And in the last places which are near to Mongolia and Kazakhstan, here another kind of nature, and there is no many plains, and we have such mountains which native people call it that it looks like Mars, because
Yeah,
there
yeah.
is red colored.
Yeah, cold desert is what we call it. So we have places like that here also. We have places like that. You'll be surprised that we also have those kind of places here. Let me show you some part of it. Let's see. You will also be surprised that we do. This is area called Ladakh. This is Ladakh in India.
Mm-hmm.
So you have that kind of area. This is what you were talking about, something like this. That you have there. So I mean, India is also very diverse, very diverse. Lots of different kinds of terrain and all. So that I think we need to. You can't see the whole country. I mean, even like we said, Russia also to see the whole country must be really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And in the country also, you might go to one part, one city in Altai region, but the Altai region is so big. But which are the beautiful parts of Altai region? What do I search for? Altai region is what you said.
Altai Republic.
Altai Republic, Altai region, and what else? ALTAI or Y?
Hmm?
Altai Republic, which you're saying ALTAI, na? Because why do I find
Yeah.
Y also sometimes somewhere? It says
When I
uses
find translations, I see different ways in English.
that's Altai.
Yes,
Altai
it's Altai Mountains, Altai Republic.
Republic. Altai Republic. It's interesting. Look, this is the way I will also see the places. And that's not, I'm going to be sitting on this table with my computer. That's not going to be my life. So this is how I'm going to see places. Nice, beautiful place. Interesting.
Mhm.
What about but these traditional clothes also?
Yes, it's traditional clothes of Altai people. It's you see it differs from traditional Russian culture.
But has that been
And
retained? Yeah.
hmm?
Has that been retained? People actually wear them, or this is only for specific functions or something?
For some celebrations for weddings of their children. And you see that this year I was happy, but I'm not Altaish because I wanted just to have a little quiet marriage with my husband. But if I was Altaish, I have to make some lunch because we usually spending for it a lot of money. Some have to get credits for whole families, and maybe we will get divorced, but we still will pay for these credits. Really, sometimes it's really
Yeah, it
happens.
happens everywhere. I'm telling you, it happens in India also.
Oh.
People sell off. Some people have to sell off their land also to get that to do that wedding. It's a problem.
But
It's a problem.
Vikram, it's interesting that as I see, they make weddings in different traditions. For example, the first part is wedding on the side of wife. The second is on the side of husband, and they make it in traditional clothes, and then they make a wedding in usual way in white dress. And I don't know how they created, and they ask to come to them all people which they know. It may be 200 people or 300 people.
Big pressure on families, and if you don't do it, then it's like a social issue. And why did they not do it? Yeah.
But in other way, do you know, when I was spoken with my friend Aidana, also when I visited her, I will translate now, when she finished building her house and she celebrated, we asked to came her mother's friends and her friends and her native people. And I see that in our modern Russian culture, we already lost it. But in their traditions, they still have it. And of course, maybe you have to waste a lot of money during visiting all the weddings. But we all doing it because it seems like when you have celebration, other people help you. When you go to help other people, and they visit each other. And I see that also, Vikram, I want to tell you that in Russia, especially after the 20th century, when we have a lot of repressions and a lot of movements during the territory of our country, and after the war, we all lost our history of our native family. And for example, I am know only my grandmas and their parents' names. And it was interesting for me. That's why I know also I have to write the story about my family during my grandmas. But in Altai, I see that people which live in little villages, they still know their family during 7 steps. Not only your parents, your grandparents, but 7 lines of them.
The whole history has got destroyed, you're saying. But then how are you going to find out? Are you going to put something together? Are you asking people, getting some information, something like that? You should find out.
I just asked my grandma and granddad when they were already old to tell me about their families. They usually tell me stories about their parents, but of course, when I was little girl, it was difficult for me to remember it all. And when I was already in 10 or 11 class of school, I asked them to tell me about it, and I write it in a copybook. And my mom also write for me about her side.
I think in the symposium you have spoken about your growing up and what your education and all that, but that is in the symposium. Maybe a lot of people want to know about your studies and everything. Maybe you can talk about that. That's a good thing.
About education?
Yeah, where you studied, where you started from, and then you moved to another college there. What?
So I'm from little, not so little village for us. for our territory. It is Krasnogorskaya. Here lives maybe 6,000 of people. We also have little villages which are near to us. There lives just several peoples. That's why my village is the center of other villages near to us. I spent here 18 years because I was born here, and I studied here at our Krasnogorskaya secondary school. It haven't some specialization, just usual teaching. And when I finished it, I became a student of Gorno-Altaisk State University. Gorno-Altaisk is the capital of Altai Republic. Altai Republic is nearing region, and Gorno-Altaisk is maybe from it. I found different information. It differs from 14 to 60 or 70,000 of people, because I see that we have a lot of students which came to Gorno-Altaisk, but we later we may leave it. So, and in Gorno-Altaisk lives Russians. As in my village, we mostly Russians population, but in Gorno-Altaisk and in Altai Republic, here lives the Russians, Altaish as an indigenous nation, and also in some parts of Altai Republic, here lives Kazakhs, and some places are mostly consist of them. And it was the place where I see the difference between people the first time, because in my village we speak only Russian, and when I came the first time to university, and the first days, for example, when we clean our student rooms, some girls may stay near to me and speak in another language. It was shock for me, really, because I thought, what are I speaking about? Why are we speaking in another language? Why I don't use Russian? I see that we know Russian. Why we speak Altaish? I really was shocked. What are we speaking? Why? So, but later, it became a norm, and of course, I know all these girls, and I understand that we use their own language, not because we want to speak about some secrets and don't tell it to me, but because it's comfortable for them. And some of them came from little villages which are whole consist from indigenous population. And for example, one of my friends, she started learning Russian only at school. Before that, when she was a little girl, she spoke only Altaish, and that's why, of course, it was the first language which she know, and it was comfortable much more for her to speak it if she can use Altaish language. And I see the difference in cultures, because in my village it was the same for whole population, but here I see that they are not only Christians, but here there are different religions, and Altai people, they also use different ways, spiritual ways, because they believe in spirits, whereas shamanism also is spread for some places. Kazakhs, much of them are in Islam, and my favorite teacher in university with which I work later, he is also Kazakh, and he is in Islam, and he really believe in it so, and he use all traditions, and I see the differences between people, and also I understand that whenever you have differences, you have a lot of things which help you to connect with each other. And during my students years, I've also started working first place was in university. I was a secretary on how does it speak, chair of civil law, and I have to understand in this time not only side of students, which maybe don't like some teachers, but I started understand these teachers because I see them as people with whom I work, and I see students which have different scene for this situation, and maybe it helps me to understand different parties too. And I spent here for years. I really love Gornautais because it's a very quiet place. It's surrounded by mountains and it's nice, and I like with people. But when I finished university, I have to think what I will do in later. And I get an idea to continue my studying, and I moved to Barnaul. It is the capital of Altai Krai, Altai territory. And here I told you that here living more than 700 of people. And of course, the first time it was hard for me after my village and after Gorno-Altaisk, where you can find all what you want on some streets. But here, first time I always was going with my phone and maps. And I finished here. I get master's degree in law in Gorno-Altaisk. I finished bachelor degree, and during my time in Gorno-Altaisk State University, when I have to find a topic which I will be writing about in my bachelor thesis, my teacher told me that I may write about mediation. And it was the first time when I spent a lot of time to this topic. And it was 2014, and it was only starting of mediation in our country before, because in 2011 the law about mediation start works, and of course there was just some professionals, and here was a lot of education for it, but not so many work. And when I came to Barnaul, I still keep trying to write about mediation, but in Altai State University, which is in Barnaul, I can't choose topics about mediation for whole work, because here in university we have different chairs, chair of civil law and chair of civil procedure, and I have to use topic about family law, and inside of it I wrote about using of mediation in some conflicts about grown children. That's
No,
and
yeah.
yes.
No, I was thinking that in your village, if you look at, are there any people who actually are mediators as such? Just that elders or someone whom people go to if they have some dispute?
No, Vikram, now I don't see such people in village which will work in this way, because in territories where we have such force of traditions, we already lost this way, and the people usually go to the court or some administration or to police, but we don't use mediation
But,
or some elders.
so, but when you speak to your father and all, or your mother, do they talk about this happening earlier? Did they resolve the disputes within the village? Was there some system like that?
I think, Vikram, that maybe before the 20th century it was here, probably. But in the last years, I see that it happened so that the religion was prohibited and there was no churches as before. and later the state have to become much more powerful, because you see that we have to go through so many wars in 20th century, for the First War and Second World War. And I think that it all was the reason why people start use power of state more than to speak with each other.
But how we want to change that? Ellie, we have to change that. We have to start with the village. That is now the focus. So how are you going to do this in your village? How are you going to do that?
If to do it in a village, I think I need to be in a village, because now I am visiting my parents sometimes once in 2 months. And that's why, of course, only some people which when I teachers understand who I am when I am coming, because when I'm visiting them, I see what I don't know, all people which are going near to me.
Imagine that is only 6,000 people. Then that is happening. What will happen to you when you come to a city like Delhi? You know, I told you what the population in Delhi is.
Oh,
What is the population in
I
Delhi?
do
You heard me saying this. What is the population in Delhi?
11 millions,
Uh, about 20 million.
20. Oh my God.
Some people have you somewhere you'll read even more than that. Some places will say 24 million, 25 million also. So what will happen to you there? In Bernal, 600,000 people, you are saying this. 25 million people. 20. That's another world.
Vikram, if I will come to Delhi, the first thing which I will make, I will call Vikram. Because I think that I will be lost in
Obviously,
such
I
lives.
mean, imagine, I can't even think that what would you go through to even, I don't know, Moscow's also big. It's not, Moscow's not small. Moscow's also big that way. But of course, in terms of density of population, I think we'll have a much higher density of population because you have to travel all over India. You have to read in the Hindu scriptures. You have to do studies on spirituality. So you might have to come to India to do all that. You will get scared when you look at so many people around you.
Vikram, my idea now is what about your question, what I will do in different places, is that maybe it is impossible now, not impossible, of course, but maybe we must start from our nearest
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
because it is really hard for one person to make peace in whole world or in large city. And that's why, of course, you will start doing by little steps. And what I started is connecting with my colleagues to make our force together. And also I try and to write some posts in internet whenever how many people is reading for them, because I understand that even if some people will remember it and if they will ask me to help them, it will be really a large win for me.
Yeah.
Inside their lives.
Exactly. But
And
yeah, but okay. No, please finish. Please finish what you were saying.
the same thing was when I was a lawyer of charitable foundation, because here was a lot of people which have problems, poor people, orphans, and I see that in Altai Krai and in Russia, here are really many people which lives in this way, and in whole world, of course. And I can't fight these problems alone. But for myself, I understand that I can help to people which already came to me and asked me to help them. That's why I go with them to the court to help them, or I help to homeless people to get some documents because they can't get a pension, or they can't go for a walk because they lost their passports. And I understand what it's really little step in the problem of whole people which live on the street. But for this one person, it's a real deal. That's why I think that we must, on one side, as you, Vikram, you are doing really large deal because you are sharing on your channel with a whole world. This is one side, trying to share with so many people as you may share. And the other side is trying to help to people which is near to you.
No, I think that's what the important thing is. So first of all, like I said, I've been saying, start from the village. Start from your village. And look, you don't have to visit it all the time. It's just that you can do a lot of things maybe online. But first of all, I just want people to go to their village and ask people who are those people that you trust to help you resolve your disputes. Just one question. That's it. Let's see what they come out with, because they've already identified those people. They know who those people are. So we just have to go talk to those people and then in some way connect people to those people. So that is why this whole peacemakers collective that I said, well, one is mediators collective, the other is peacemakers collective. These peacemakers will go out, talk to these people who have the mediator mindset. They will talk to people, tell them that you should try and resolve your disputes in a collaborative manner. And then they in some way coordinate that mediation. Let's call it whatever word. I mean, you don't have to call it mediation, call it whatever you want. Main thing is to get them together and help them resolve the dispute. So we need that at the first to start with. I think that's what you're going to do, Ellie. At the village, let's start with your village. So you are going to today, right now, call up your father and mother and ask them in the village who are those people that people trust. So you will have get some names, then you speak to those people that look, people trust you. So this is actually something that you can do as a profession. It can be a profession. Now, I don't know about the law. Does your law stop them from practicing as mediators? I'm sure it doesn't. Law cannot stop those people. There's no problem there. Nah? That if they say that, okay, we are mediators, is it going to be a problem for them? Is there a law which will stop them from doing that?
We have to go through studying.
They have to. What if they say that, okay, we're not doing it as a profession. We are just helping you. We're not asking you to pay anything. But if you want to send us a gift, you can send us a gift. Will that be a problem? You can't stop people from helping people resolve their disputes. You can't do that. I mean, that'll be, if the law is like that, then there's a problem there. Because I think that has to be totally flexible for people. You can't stop that. Can you stop that? It's happening all the time. So you can't say that no, people won't practice. We will go through your law on that part. If you have to, someone says professionally they want to practice as mediators, what the situation is. We have to look at that. But in general, I can't see the people stopping them. But I'm saying, okay, not a problem. You give me a gift if you want to. But like I also put on my website, I don't charge anything for anything that you want to send me a gift. No one can stop anyone from sending someone a gift. So if that person is practicing, is it okay, says I will help you, let them do it that way. But the main thing is that they should be out there. I want them, those people, to be in the profession. They are the people who are trusted. They have the natural ability. So we have to get that. So are you going to do that today, tomorrow, whenever?
Vikram, I like cute style.
That's the starting point. I'm telling you, Ellie, that is the starting point. If this is where we have to start from, whatever's happened in the mediation world for a moment, just let's forget about it. Okay, perfect. That's happening. That world exists, not a problem. But there is a fundamental problem if mediation hasn't taken off the way it should have. So the right people have to come in, and it has to start from the village. So this is important because at least you have a connection with a village. I have to tell other people to do it because obviously I am not connected to any village. But if you are already there, you should be able to build that there, and then we'll create an online space. I don't know what the connectivity issues in the village are. Maybe a physical space. Let's see how that works out. But let's start that process. Whatever else you're doing at the association, of course, you're going to tell us about what you're doing in the association and what all you're doing there. But this aspect should be your Ellie's project to be able to develop in one village. That will be your model village. This village, we are dispute free. Everyone goes to these people, they help them resolve their disputes. No one goes to courts. Once that word goes out, then imagine the kind of, I mean, when people hear about it, they'll ask, okay, Ellie did this, so let's find out how she did it. Then she sets it up in that village and connects people. So I think that's the way we have to go about it. What is Sergey? Sergey is there?
Yes, my husband back home.
Is he going to say hi to us or not?
Oh, no, he will come.
But I think
Тебя просят поздороваться.
But I think we need to do that. Okay, we are actually going to do this. It's not going to be just this conversation here. The process is going to start from either today or tomorrow. Your first call is going to be to your parents and everyone else who are okay, people, older people, whatever. Hi, Sergey.
Hello.
How are you?
One moment.
Good.
Where did he go? Where is he coming from?
Oh, Vikram, please wait. I have to use my earphone.
So let him also sit there. Does he get a chair to sit or not?
What?
Is he going to sit with us or not? Sergey is coming. He's going to sit.
He's going to his computer.
Or maybe he can log in from his computer. Well, why not that? Maybe he should log in from there.
For him, it's difficult for first to speak English, and the second is he's so shy person. He's not so public, and I am too. To be honest.
So we'll talk to him. So, look, maybe what I have to do is I have to start speaking Russian through Google Translate. I have to start doing that. No, I do that. Sometimes I go to the people who only speak Spanish. So I put on my Google Translate and it keeps, while I'm speaking, it's typing out in Russian. It works very well. It works very well. Although you are there to translate, where is the problem?
I think but you don't have any problems in communication with people in any country.
Yes, exactly. Because language is something that basic Google has done such a good job. Why don't we use that? So I do that. Recently we had the celebrating mediators, and this person could only speak Spanish, but we had a conversation in the sense of this kind of conversation through that. Not a problem at all. I'm telling you, it really works. So I don't know whether you've tried it or not, but it is actually quite good. Let's try it out. Let's see if it works well or not. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
How are you? Okay, that's okay. I should not say anything else. If I say anything else, that comes in there, but it's okay. But this way, what happens is that, of course, I can't read from there. I'll have to just hear it. But I think slowly, if I keep hearing these words, I can say that. Let me see what it sounds like. How are you? Okay. Как дела? Как дела?
You're right. You're beautiful, Vikram, in Russian. Really.
This is what I'm going to do. Sergey, I think Sergey will be my way of learning Russian. That's what I will. But where is he? Saturday, he works on Saturday. He works from home only. He works from home only. He doesn't go out, does he?
He works from home, but from this week he started work with the agency from Moscow, and that's why he will have to work to a lot of time and during our night because we have time difference.
Oh yes, okay. But what kind of work does he do? What kind
He's a web designer and SMM designer.
So he's made your website or not?
He painted paint and make some pictures by design of pictures, some posters.
What is your website? What is your website? I haven't seen your website. What is the? Send it. Just type it. No, your website.
My website?
Yeah.
I don't even have website still.
Why? Sergey is sitting there. You should be designing a website.
Because he may paint it, but he don't will make other work.
Okay.
He makes only design of pages. But as I understand, it's uses for some large companies when they make individual design.
But tell me, what is the association doing?
About website of association?
No, yeah, website also. What other activities are you people doing?
Activities.
Yeah.
We started working of club for mediations. Here was 2 meetings, one in a month. First meetings was about communication, and we played in Russia. We have such game as a master of communication. And here we have different cards which give you different kind of situation. And you must practice your argumenting or work with the manipulation or how to be hearing, how to differ emotions, and it helps to work with it. And the next meeting, I think, will be about I want to prepare information as a lawyer, which cases in our law system may go for mediation. Because do you know, in Russia, large part of mediators are lawyer, but in outside territory, now in my association, only I'm a lawyer.
Wow,
And
that's
that's
damn good.
why I see that for my colleagues, it will be hard to understand some things, which is usual things for me. And that's why I want to prepare information for them, how to understand, may they go for mediation in this case, or some cases have to use only the court decision because they need, oh, my cat is coming.
Is she going to say hi to us or not?
Hmm?
Is she going to say hi to us, your cat, or no? He or she?
It's she.
She. What is her name?
Ягодка, it is a berry in English.
But they don't say hi, do they? Dogs might still respond. I don't think cats do. They respond? Obviously, with your headphones, they can't even. She can't even hear.
Oh, she wanted to sit on me because it's her chair, and she wants me to sit with her.
Okay, but this is called the Association of Professional Mediators of the Altai Territory.
Yes.
That is what it's called, no? But I mean, how is the people responding to? I mean, you're going out or telling people about mediation, and how are you going about it?
How I want to share information.
Yeah,
I speak about it.
Yeah, to tell you want to tell people about mediation, and you want people to try out mediation. So what all are you people doing there?
Now we all share information in our social nets, and also when we have. You saw Yandex browser, which is Russian browser, and also Yandex is large company, and we have such a system as Google, only Yandex for searching different information, and we have different services, and one of them is Yandex Zen. It is a channel where you can write different texts and share with people, and I trying to share in use about mediation in this channel too. And when we will make a website, I want to write it also here. And I think that we will create some booklets or some information on paper to put it in courts, because in some courts we have stands about mediation, and to share here. And I think that we have to go to court to speak with the head of the court to start working together with them to share information with judges or how they may tell to parties about mediation. And also maybe we will start, I told you that I have an idea to give, to become a partner of business center, and with help of it, we may share some information with the companies. And so we may tell them about mediation in business and also in labor law also.
The main thing is we have to make them try out mediation. So you have to tell them you can pay whatever fees you want, but at least try out one case. Yeah. So that is, I think the starting point has to happen there for sure. So then a good work that you're doing. So a lot of work now. What about that JAMS fellowship that you applied for? You said you want to go and see what how a community mediation center is functioning there. That is what you want to do. And then, And this
You,
other,
you finished?
we have that the other association, that what was the name of the association, that one that you saw in the US? National Association for Community Mediators.
Yeah, National Association for Community Mediation Centers. I see that we work online. We haven't large offices. The offices are in different parts of US, and I see that we have different programs to help to mediation centers which only start their working, but also you see that community mediation center is, as I understand, it differs from usual mediation center, because for example, as I see in Dayton Mediation Center, the program, they use volunteers, which goes through studying for mediation in this center, and then they work for a year, 1 day in a week, in Saturday, with different conflicts. And I see that here, for example, in Dayton, they have a lot of free mediation when volunteers work, and when people can't pay for it, they go for mediation for free. But also they have payment, as I understand, from the city, and they help to people from Dayton for free, but to people from our territories, which also came to them, they get some salary. And I don't know how we will work, because we have in Russia such a large foundation as a President Foundation, it's called its name, and which gives grants to non-government organization in different kinds of work, for helping the poor people, for helping the sick people, for different measures. And also you see that I told you that I was a student in mediation when organization in Barnaul gets grant for studying people, and they open reconciliation rooms in organ which work with family cases, not court, but we must go to the court when we have little children. But if you only married but you haven't children, you may get divorced, not through the court but through these organs. I don't know how it goes. Administrative organs. I don't know how it translates to English. And now I think, what do you know? I tell you always what we haven't any center of mediation in Brno, but if you will go to internet, you will find information what we already have something. But the problem for me that a lot of things is still on a paper, or maybe we have organization, but as you see, despite what I was their student and volunteer, when the grant stopped, I have to work by myself. I didn't know where I can go, where I can find clients, how these reconciliation rooms work. As I understand, we don't work after the grant finished. And my colleagues, which is an association, when they started only their work several years ago, they also find information about this center. We came to them, tell them, I am a mediator, I want to work with you. And they we are glad that you are a mediator. You have to work. We wish you to have a good luck. And that's all. And I don't, do you know, I don't know how to understand it. On the one side, I am really grateful for them, but I have a chance to go through studying for free, because I haven't money this time to pay for it, because in Russia it costs, for me, it costs much. But on the other side, I don't know why people which works mediators so closed and why this organization is so closed. And now when you will try to find information, you will see the center, but I can't connect with them. And for me, our work is starting from the zero.
Well, that's why. But what I'm thinking is, after this Jams Fellowship thing came up, I realized that there are so many people like you who want to do good things in with different parts of the world. So I will get people who want to, in some way. One is, of course, give guidance and whatever resources they can give, and some people might even want to fund. So let's get those people in touch with you, and let's start doing it, whatever small way. Let's start the process. So at least, I mean, if that fellowship is just one thing that you have applied for, that's okay. But otherwise, the work has to go on. So let's start putting those things together. And let's set up whatever we. But I'm still saying that, Ellie, you have to go. That's from the village upwards. We have to start from there. We'll discuss it. We'll discuss how to go about it. So definitely. So now, after all your symposium experience and of course everything else, what is your vision for mediation in Bernal, in Altai Republic, Altai region, in the world, in Russia? How are you looking at mediation in the next few years? What do you think?
In Russia, Vikram, I see that, of course, I can't tell about whole of the world, because I see that a lot of countries and mediation is well known in them for different periods. But in Russia, I see that not only in my region, but in different levels, it started provide, because Council of Judges just several days ago speak about mediation and judges which stopped already worked and work in this way. And they tell that we must change the situation and we must provide mediation and use it in family cases, for example, and we must change some legislation or some laws and to provide the rule to go the first mediator on the later to the court in some cases. And also I see that people in different cities, in Moscow, in not so large cities, mediators, they start connection with each other and they start work together. And there are a lot of different centers which are open now. And I see that even in social nets in 2020, it only starts, and now it's still working, that a lot of people start sharing this information. And I hope that during some time, it will be a kind of norm for us. I see that always when we see something new, it is difficult for us to understand why I need it, why I must use it, what is it mediation, what is this what me. And I hope that if many people now will speak about it through several years, it will be something which we understand and which we may think use or not to use. And all what I see what to do is only for any of us to go by little steps, to go together. And it's what we are making now. Maybe there are some other ways, but I don't see them. Because I just, when I look at symposium and I see how many years people work as a mediator, how many years they are peacemakers, how many countries they visited with their job. And now I see that here I am, Elizaveta Ionina, which is only from 2018 start working as a mediator, and I have only several clients in a year. And I understand, of course, that I have other level of my practice, of my knowledge, of my power for people. And that's why when you ask me about some large questions, it's for me. And when you asked me to become a speaker at symposium, it was something surprising for me because I understand what my possibility to make no, to deal with people, it's not so large when for people which works as a mediator for 20 or 30 years. And
Look,
I only have to do what I can now.
look, Ellie, the simple thing is that you have always been a mediator. It's not 2018. That mindset is something that is there from the beginning. So don't even worry about that. You have enough years of experience there. And the things, good intentions, you have good thoughts. So that is why, I mean, when I said you come as a speaker to this symposium is because I saw all that. So definitely all that is there. It's just that, okay, you're looking at the situation from at a point when it hasn't been promoted well. So people, like I said, the word is not important. People have to. The whole idea of the symposium was that people should connect to the process, and they're familiar with the process. It's not alien to them. So that is what we have to try and connect them to. So which is what I said. We'll start from the village thing, and let's take it from there. If the culture develops from there, and of course, small towns, cities, definitely it'll be a little more easier whether there is some connection in terms of communities. I think things can be easier when you become larger cities and you totally disconnect. And it'll be a different way to go about it there. So let's start small. Let's start there. That process, look, everything else you're doing, you keep doing, but that I want it to be something that you do on your own. It's like not an association or anything. That's your project. So that is when if you have to look for funding or whatever, it should be Ellie is being funded, her project. That's what I'm looking at it. So we'll develop that in any case. So
Okay.
any concluding remarks, anything? I got used to the symposium now. Concluding remarks kind of thing.
Questions? Yes.
Yes. But I think yeah, I should get out of that mode. Sometimes I get into that mode. So okay, it's a conversation. We don't have to get into that. Obviously, concluded in the nice way there. So
Nick, and in
anyway,
conclusion, I really want to tell you really big thank you for all you're doing and for all you're doing for me. Because I see sometimes that maybe you believe in me more than I myself believe in myself. Because you see me as a person, not only as a professional which works for several years. And during speaking with you, I feel myself better in it.
that's really nice, really nice. Look, the thing is, you've put so much responsibility on me. I think of you as my godfather. So you've put that much responsibility on me also. So I have to work on that also.
Thank you.
So anyway, so always a pleasure speaking to you, Ellie. Thank you very much. And obviously, we'll continue these conversations as we go along. It we are just cutting or